check in and see how people were doing. But two subjects were brought up today. Actually, three. Intention. Or actually, just two. Actually, just intention in Buddhism, what it means, how we can apply it. And the other thing was the Catholic Mass because we have one party that's Catholic, we got one party that's Buddhism. And when you guys are attending each other's churches or monasteries, you guys are gonna be like scratching your head, like, what's going on here? So I wanted to just decipher that for for both of y'all. Number one, yeah, as I got older, I'm just like, I've been invited to all these places, and in my head, and I'm like, what's your intention with me? That's very important in your life, people you encounter,
Absolutely.
so that you can rule out the fact that whether they're wasting your time or not. And I was recently, visited by a monk, which you have knowledge about.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what his intention was with me. So I want to come, I want to talk to you. And he was very adamant about that 3 times. And I was like, okay. No, we're just sitting there just breathing. And he probably asked like two questions that got nowhere. And I was like, I'm gonna strike to y'all that I just have a lot of time on my hand. So we have a new student on the phone last week or a couple days ago, right? Leo,
Yeah, yes, Leo.
right? So I call Leo a couple hours before, and I call, and I'm asking him a question. I'm like, I forgot to tell him what my intention was. So I backed up and I said, Leo, my intention today, the scope and nature of my intention today, is to capture a sample of your life, to see where
Mm-hmm.
you're at in life, so where I can meet you in life, and select one of 84,000 teachings for you. So again, I stated my intention.
Nice up
Mm-hmm.
front.
The Magione guy, they're still trying to determine intention, which is
Oh.
motive. Motive, intention, the same.
Mm.
In love and relationship, two people rarely do they jump in it all the way right away, unless she's really hot or he's really hot. But you want to determine motive and intention. Like, are you after me for my money? Are you after me for my car? Or are you after me for certain body parts that you think I have? Right? But those are two things that, because humans are difficult to read,
Mm-hmm.
and we communicate. And then the newer generation now, they live in their head, so it's difficult to ascertain information about intention or motive. So you have to try to get that out of them by through observing just watching them. Alex, Alex, where he lives in his head, and I'm like, tell me your thought process again. How you think that led to this decision, and it's spinning in there. So yeah. So and then recently, when I taught at Sunken Gardens, I was expecting this wonderful lady named Jennifer. I gave well, it's all recorded, but when I taught the walking meditation, I told them that when you walk, just walk with intention. And I says, you see, in New York, people don't walk with intention.
No.
They walk to get from point A to point B, cross the street with coffee, newspaper, and phone in their hand.
No.
That's hectic. That's not peaceful. What does peace look like for you?
Mm.
So I literally had like maybe 5 minutes to make my case in walking meditation.
Mm.
Imagine that, trying to find the right words to compress it. But then I said that the intention here is 3 steps. Foot goes up, pushes forward, makes landfall.
That's it.
Tried to make it with intention, and of course, my new novice that I ordained that day, it's so funny. Everyone's doing it except the novice. And the novice, and I'm like, because this is before ordination, and the novice was just like did you not have all this time to check out the trees and the birds? And we're walking, and I think this had to been captured because two assistant, one on the back, one in the front, and the one in the front just had it on me. And you probably caught where I'm like, I can't believe.
I'm gonna catch. No.
But everybody else did. Everyone else tried to mimic the 3 steps. So it's no different. Tonight I give instructions to the crew and to the students about breathing meditation is breathe with that intention. Breathe with intention. No different. The book you just dragged out, creative imagery, that mostly came from the Vajrayana tradition, which is where they actually imagine that they are Buddha. Or if the mind's tripping, they imagine that they're actually at the waterfall and, start looking at the waterfall and the sound of the waterfall and the parrots flying around them, So the power of imagery, very important. I mean, just look at how much you imagine. Look at how much you imagine when you're alone without each other. So the intention is very important, right intention. Is that knowing how to stop yourself. And just look at what you say before you say it. You said it without intention. What was your intention before? What is the goal? What is it that you want him or her to achieve before you spoke? Because if you wanted certain behavior to stop in the home, you would sit there and be like, my intent for him is, and his intention should be, and this is how I'm going to paint the picture for him to realize his intention or my intention with him. So you have to really think about it. And people lack that. People would just be like, you put the seat up again in the toilet. And then it's hectic because no one can ascertain the intention. Well, what was the point of you addressing that? Because it rubs you the wrong way? Because you are afraid of bacteria? Is it your OCD kicking in? Then we trace paticca samuppada, dependent arising. This is because that is. Yep. So it's very interesting when you apply Buddhist principles to this. But the intention aspect is just one of the key. And I'm so glad you all spoke left and right on the phone, because I was just trying to capture it all before Julius called in. And I was like, okay, keep going. You're hitting all the check marks. Yeah. You guys are learning that this is very important to pause on it.
That's why I explained to her about Patidana, which I was like, I never heard of that term until that talk. And I said, wait a minute.
Well, it's no different than what I said, was it like 2 weeks ago, about the quality of your thought at the time of giving determines the merits that you are going to receive. And, that's the intention behind the giving. That's why the Buddha says, give without expecting nothing in return. That's a real gift.
Zero.
Because in life, think about it. How many times we've given or other people have given to us, and it's like, are you expecting something in return? That's why there's the act of reciprocity, right? And then people are afraid to give this holiday because they're like, girl, I ain't got that kind of money. You better not buy me no high-price item at the mall, because if you gonna get me Chanel, don't expect no Louis Vuitton.
Hey, Jennifer, stop. Everything is fine. Where are you going?
It's not so much. It's so strong for me.
Okay.
It's like, if you get me Louis Vuitton, girl, don't expect no Chanel. Because, you know what I mean? Because I can only afford thrift store bags, and you gonna get me Chanel or LV. So everyone's afraid of that. But, Buddhism can save people a bunch of money on their car insurance by realizing give without expecting anything in return.
Yes, and if everybody gave, nobody would need anything.
They wouldn't have expectations.
It would be so easy to be like, oh, what do you need?
But Viet do that.
Got it for you.
Like,
Right.
It's easy to say.
But Viet do that.
Well,
Vietnamese people do that. First of all, every time they come over, they always bring food.
Wow.
Because it breaks the barrier of trust and just interdependence. Trust, interdependence, and we like you. Everyone wants to, everyone has suspicions of others naturally. So how do you dispel that alarm? Is that you give more and you take less. And that's how the other side of the family, they're like, no different than Latino families. They always bring food over. You watch the transactional exchange. It has to do with trust. We like you. We want to be here. We enjoy your company. That's what the gift means. Wow. And then when this family have time, they do the same thing with the other family. No different than American family back in the day when they're like, how you doing? Just wanna introduce you to the new neighborhood. We done saw that y'all done moved in. And it was like, oh my God, you guys are so nice.
We're gonna bring pie.
Right. Right. Nowadays, your neighbor's walking around with a 38 on their hip. It's like, oh wow. Well, good morning to you too, George.
Right.
Good day, mate.
Yeah.
But the thought intention is really important because you don't want to plant any seeds of negativity. You know, I mean, as you wake up in the morning, everything should be how blessed we are and with gratitude and
Yes, that's the way I do it.
speaking
And I
life.
don't generalize. I go specifics. I'm grateful for a tree down in my life. I'm grateful for being able to practice the Dhamma. I'm grateful for having food. I'm grateful for having a job. I'm grateful to be able to wake up in the morning. So I start with a whole list of specific things I'm grateful for, and then it gets me out of the mindset of always thinking in trying to advantage myself, because obviously it's not an investment, and B, um, I don't have this attitude of I want more and accumulating. So it shifts the point of view from I want to keep acquiring to wow, look at what I have. It's so wonderful to have this much already. It can actually be overwhelming because every time like she buys me something material, it's a great gift. Intention is wonderful. And but for me, I have to now be responsible for that item because that's how I'm building up my responsibility. Is that I'm aware of everything that I have and every material possession that I own, so that A, I'm not adding on to them, and B, I take care of the little things that I do have. I take very good care of them. So the same thing is happening in my mind. I'm culturing that, seeding of those seeds in the mind that I'm cultivating, and taking care of my little garden right now.
Yeah. 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 So it was just a great joy to see people practice that type of or bringing that up subject. There's so much to the art of being human, and these are some of the necessary conversation to perfect the art of being human is with right intention,
Yep.
right thought, right intention. All this falls in the noble eightfold path.
Yep. That's why the first one is right in view, because if you're looking at things off, your intention is going to be off.
Okay, so the second thing I wanted to address is the Catholic Mass, because I feel that it's necessary for both of you to respect each other's religion and practice and rites and rituals, of which we also have in Buddhism. And so, when Jorge says, "Yeah, I don't know what y'all was doing over there with the hosts, the body of Christ, and then that," but in Buddhism we don't do that, and we kind of steer away from rites and rituals. So it goes back to intentions again. The rites and ritual that the Buddha is really concerned of, and back in his day, 2,500 years ago, was like, like incense. Like they would like really try to cast spells with incense. And the Buddha's like, "What are you doing? Because that's not going to cast away anything. And it's really hard to breathe in here.
Yeah.
Just, see this woman next to me, Jennifer? Yeah, she's hard to breathe. And right now I'm the Buddha and I can't even breathe. So do you mind stopping that ritual?
Alexa, stop.
You're violating my privacy, Alexa. Morgan and Morgan against Lexus. So, well, I mean, Alexa's captured like when murders have actually happened in the room, and they're like, "Can we use Alexa to testify?" Like third party recording.
Really? Wow.
It's been like this 10 years. Like I think 10 years now they've like debated in court whether they could use that as a witness during murder trial, because people don't keep the first precept: stop killing. Okay, back to the Catholic Mass. All right, I want to explain it for both sides to understand. We have similar rites and rituals. And the purpose, the intention of the rituals is to bring you closer to God. Finding God, you found yourself. Find yourself, you found God. But how do we get close to that? Well, you have to practice. Well, what are we practicing? Kneeling. See the kneeling?
Yeah.
I can't remember some of the citations because I'm not a Catholic priest. And then there's the part where it says, "My fault, my fault." But why do you have to physically pound your chest? No different than in loving kindness meditation, that Bhante Sarnapala, have the students put their hand over their chest to feel the heart, to now cultivate that physicality of feeling that I'm now radiating from my heart, that loving kindness to my neighbors. Just saying what Jesus said, love your neighbors. So, you know what I mean? So in the Catholic world, they got it well structured. No different than if you go to Laos. You will be well structured in the Theravadan way of Laos or Thailand, where you go, you give your 3 bows, no different than kneeling. Bowing over here, kneeling over there.
Right.
You got books over there, you got books over here.
Mm.
And then the priest administers, and then we clergymen also administers the precepts. Look at how the priest administers, uh, lift up to the Lord. Uh, and yeah, just how he guides you all to uplift your spirits and look forward to that. That's their version of the Buddha.
Yes.
That's their Buddha.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I
And our
tried to-
Buddha is, let us chant the Iti Piso. He's
Mm.
the knower of the world. He's unsurpassable. The 9 qualities of a Buddha. Okay, so it's same.
Yeah, and you say go in peace.
What, she had a piece of, it was a page, and then it was the act of contrition, the virtues of the Catholic. But what I saw was exactly the precepts, it was a path towards virtue. So they got the aim right. In other words, it's like, oh yeah, if you follow these things, absolutely you have a favorable rebirth. Even though still not knowing rebirth and not knowing the teachings of Buddha, there at least eventually the karma fruit will sprout. That they will encounter the teachings of the Buddha because of that
With
merit.
virtue.
That little cheat sheet I have, I actually got it from a really big Catholic church in Cali. I have it at home. I have it. Just all the basic tenets of the Catholic Mass and the act of contrition and forgiveness and Hail Mary and basically the rosary behind it also.
Wow.
But we don't jump to rebirth or a guaranteed place in heaven and living forever with God because people are so far away from that. That number one, they look at that first, and that's make or break deal whether they go into Buddhism or Christianity. Stop yourself. You don't even know who you are, and you want to get into the kingdom of God. You have no idea who you are. So if I was to directly interview a Catholic parishioner or a Buddhist, like people are like, I'm Buddhist. Really? What makes you Buddhist then? They can't answer. Have you gone through your pain? What pains have you gone through? They can't answer. In Christianity world too, it's like, you forgive your parents? Yes or no? Do you honor them by forgiving them? Right, but you want to get into the kingdom of God, and that's all you've been looking at without looking at the forgiveness aspect of it, into the details of the basic tenets of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And how many times have you looked at your sins and mortal sins, right? Yeah, the one that is less mortal and then the mortal sins. Like, what the skeletons in your closet. If I was a priest, what would you tell me now? Do you confess? Right. So the rebirth and the, entering the kingdom of God, let that towards the end. You haven't understand nothing yet to now jump into that first. So when students tell me that first, I'm like, just go back to Google and let me know when you're ready. Maybe I'll be around in 10 years, maybe I won't. But, you know what I mean? But those are for the younger students. The younger ones aim for that. The more mature audiences focus on knowing you first. Knowing why you get angry. Knowing why there's hatred and suspicions in your heart first. Let's get that over with first before we can turn the page.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ah.
'Cause that is anger, and that is a sin. Truly it is, I think.
And the other thing, yeah, and the one thing that I would also say is sin is a very heavy word.
Yeah.
It places a lot of guilt in one's heart. So in Buddhism, we replace the word sin with unwholesome actions or deeds or thoughts. Unwholesome. It's not wholesome. Or you can replace that with unhelpful. Seeing clearly that it is unskilled and untrained. So the thought or the action is unskilled and untrained. You were not trained to take this action. You were not skilled to take this action. So therefore, God would probably frown. Yes, indeed. But don't take that to heart. Literally, people beat up themselves up over sins. And they're like, that's why I'm not going to go to church anymore because I've committed this sin. And they start being their own lawyer and prosecutor. It's like, yeah, you just hired your own prosecutor against you. That's why you stopped going to church. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of talking to the priest who is the referee to let you know whether a prosecutor we can bargain with or something you did that was really, 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 really bad. That's why, you got to go to the priest. Right? Okay, so back to the Mass is that No, we play three bows. We ask for the precepts, whereas they have their own thing. So my goal for you is to just be go in it with curiosity,
Yeah,
not
thank
black
you.
and white thinking.
Okay, thank you.
Not, oh, y'all, that ritual, I can't take the host because that means I'm receiving God.
Oh, okay, got it.
Or she's drinking blood of God.
Right.
And so she's got God in her, so I can't touch her. She's a holy lady.
Okay.
You know, that's how they hold.
Okay. Right.
Or if I was the creator of Christianity, like let's just pretend I'm like the Pope, right? And if I wanted my fellow parishioners to be faithful to the church, married to the church, um, then yeah, do this in memory of me.
Exactly.
So, but how do we translate that in Buddhism? Is we pay homage, the Namo Tassa Bhagavato. We pay homage to him, the blessed one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. And it's funny because there's nothing physical that we can actually eat to feel that Buddha is in us. And it's like hard for us to also imagine that the mind is Buddha and Buddha is the mind. And the quality of mind determines that you are now Buddha in this moment. In this moment. Matter of fact, you can be Buddha while you're making love, because that's the only time that you're actually fully enlightened. That you see what's happening? Like, I can see you. It's like, okay, so you got Buddhas making love.
That's beautiful.
The tantric sex practices in Vajrayana, that's why they got all that going on. Or the Kama Sutta in sex, because like, well, how did you get sex and the Kama Sutta together again? I don't understand what's happening. But when you just look at the mindfulness approach, the mindfulness practice,
Right.
but we don't have the host and the wine, but our practice is to offer the food to the monks, because by honoring the disciples of the Buddha, we feel that we're honoring him instead of taking the hosts and the wine, right? And for the Catholics, when they actually, this is my body and this is my blood, which will be given up for you and for the many, so that they feel a sense of interdependence for you and for the many. Jesus died for your sins. We're all sinners. They feel a sense of connectedness, interdependence. Same thing with us. Right. So it's a beautiful thing. And then once they receive the body of God, they become reborn again. They're reborn Christian. They go and they kneel down. They're like, okay, well, I have been forgiven, or at least I feel like I've been forgiven, or at least this has to do and contribute to my forgiveness.
Yes.
Let me start over. Let me stop, being mean to my neighbors.
Oh, it's
I
the
have
same
Jesus
as the
in me.
precepts, like following the precepts. Things fall and they get back up.
But they take instant rebirth when you taste that wine. You just feel a spiritual sense of I have God in me. I need to walk and talk like God after leaving church. And if someone cuts in front of me, I'm not going to pull my 38. That's what it serves. That's what the priest wants to see. He don't want you to, eat the host and then go out and then, make a line of cocaine and or roll a joint in the car on the way home.
That's not holy living, no.
Right. It's like you just received God in you, and now you're doing ungodly things. Is that
beautiful?
right? It like touches the conscience. Like, hello? So in Laos, Thailand, Vietnam, over and over, I can't tell you how many times they give the precepts. Every ceremony, every encounter is the precepts. Because again, now you have Buddha in you. We have transmitted the precepts into your veins. When you leave the temple,
it's instilled.
Leave the machete alone. They don't got guns over there. They got machetes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
They administer direct.
Right. So by understanding our practice, we're able to be more curious about their practice and see that it goes hand in hand. It's structured. It's word for word. There is a real intention.
That's true. Yeah.
There is signs, there's symbols.
So important.
No different than there are signs and symbols in here. Mahayana monks, when they do like funerals, you see rituals and symbols of them writing in Chinese and giving a blessing to the departed. They dip the flour into the water, and they have a mudra. And the mudra looks like this. Different types of mudra, but usually it's like this. And you see them, and you're like, oh my God, it's happening. It's no different than a priest holding the host and the wine, because that was my enlightenment as a Catholic growing up, watching Father Dam, and I was like, oh my God. Then they ring the bell, and you feel God coming down into the chalice,
Wow.
and the panton that they're holding. It's like, oh my God, God just descended. We just can't see him, but he's going down. And then the priest looks up, and when he looks up, holding the chalice and the panton, and he's, and then he says, Amen. You can catch the Amen part of it, and you're like, I died. So it's beautiful. So you should go and experience it.
Thank you.
And learn it. You know what I mean? I have to know both to counsel Christian families.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I found a lot of resistance in the beginning, but I didn't let it get the best. Like
Black and white thinking.
Yeah, the thoughts arose, and I was like, really? I was like, so what would you rather do? Stay home and do what? Listen to them? Okay, that's fine. But then you're not considering your girl. So how selfish is that?
We have, God and Buddha don't really have a good case if we put them on trial. If we, the people, put them on trial. Because they didn't write anything down. That's their first fault. You didn't write anything down. You passed it on orally. And then you led it to John, Dick, and Harry, and Matthew, and John again, and Luke, and all these disciples to pass it along. Then it took things out of the Bible, and you didn't punish them. At the time of them changing certain things that supposedly you said, did you throw a lightning bolt at that one? No, you didn't. Okay. So now you expect us to crawl into your kingdom of heaven. Under what tenet and under what actual belief of what we think you said? Same thing with the Buddha. You want us to enter into enlightenment, but there's this thing called the Abhidhamma, and no one really clarified whether this actually is theory or practice or both. You have different versions in different languages. Did you expect us in one lifetime to study the Chinese Abhidhamma, the Vietnamese Abhidhamma, the Sri Lankan Abhidhamma, and then 84,000 teaching that you left? Why am I telling you this? Is do the best that you can and hold the 10 precepts and hold the 10 commandments dear to your heart, because that's the only defense that you have when you die, no matter where the hell you go. Don't matter where you go or how you go. Because obviously, there's prescribed where I'm going to go, where I think I'm going to go. But I don't really attach onto that. Clearly, if I didn't attach onto that, why am I also a pastor? This is my path. It's not for you students to see, oh, well, maybe we should be like him. No. I'm going to teach what I think is good for you right now. Me, I have a different speech and debate when I get to see both of them. Because I was raised up this way and it didn't provide the answer, so I went this way. So I really want to have speech and debate with them. That's why I'm a pastor and a monk. So leave it to me. Your job is to know who you are and achieve enlightenment, where you are, who you are, and who you're going to be. Just keep it simple. Complicated life, yours don't have to be. Get what I'm saying? Okay. So again, there's this thing, where you need to be able to say, you told me to keep the holy Sabbath day, and that I did. And going to the monastery and reflecting on the Four Noble Truths, that you did, right? So each one need to become a defense lawyer. In religion, become a defense lawyer in religion. Why? Your path, your unwholesome deeds, your wholesome deeds, make a case so you get to go where you go.
Yeah, they have the day of adoration that they say you must go to.
And judgment day. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, it's fun if you do the right thing.
It is fun, correct.
If you do the right thing, the Buddha says, even those who've lived wisely don't fear death.
Nope.
So clearly, if you live wisely in accordance to the Bible, how would you wouldn't fear revelation?
Do you recognize this pose?
What pose?
Right here.
Or maybe you need to kick your leg
Oh,
back.
Mahaparinabhana. Right.
That's the aim right here. You want to live where you're going to be like this.
I don't know. You look like an OnlyFans model to me right now.
Right.
While we're being recorded.
You got a scan cut?
The lion fought. I did my best. The intention was good.
Right.
The action maybe not so much.
So yeah, I wanted to be here to explain that and not over the phone, because she's always running around and I'm like, they may miss something if I'm trying to explain this over the phone, because I don't want you to feel like wow, he's really distant from me when I'm at church. This is my enlightenment. I don't feel like he's understanding what the hell is going on. And if you bring her to the temple and you pray and you bowing to the Buddha, and she's like, Buddha ain't God. I don't know why the hell you praying to Buddha. You know. So by me being the referee in the middle, I can explain the why, and that's when you guys are like, this is very interesting, and I really respect both, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you both, again, they Buddha and God, they have a field day explaining themselves. With the powers they got, why didn't they just throw a book down from heaven?
Right. I love it.
I'm just wondering what there's Amazon Prime.
Right. Like they wanted
You
to-
made us,
they wanted
and
to
I don't
see
understand
places,
why
yeah.
you didn't send a drone, or how about doves? Let's go non-technological,
Man,
right?
it's not-
Maybe heaven can't manufacture lithium batteries, but you definitely could send doves, because that is symbolic in every religion. You couldn't send 4 doves to send me a book that says it was from you. And directly from you, when I open it up, it glows red, which indicated these are the word from God itself, himself. Just me and you. Okay? Ain't nobody gonna see this. I put it in my safe where my 38 is. No one gonna go touch it. But why can't you do that? And you wanted me to understand the Bible from Tom, Dick, and Harry. So you all have a case with them one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and then
For the balance.
last and foremost is that in Buddhism, the 4th stage of enlightenment, the first 2 has to do with good behavior. You can't enter the first 2 if you don't keep perfect precepts. You see how it's very similar to Christianity? Well, how the hell are you going to get in the gates of God if you didn't keep the commandments? Like, there's 10, you kept 1. And you want to get past through this door and collect 200? You want to stop here and collect 200? What is this, Monopoly?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good. So as you progress, go along, learn. Sit together with the priest and learn together. The monk's here, so you just, whatever clarification I need to make, you can ask me directly. But when you go to church, sit with the priest and be like,
Yeah, we should do that.
Absolutely. But yeah, I remember one of the first times he came over in front of my Buddha picture, he said, may I bow to them? And
Remember that?
yes, explicitly, because I've never bowed.
Yeah,
to
the
them.
first
didn't
time I
know
went
that.
there, I was still unsure about like the whole entire decision, because remember, I couldn't wear my robes after I met her, and so it was a way different. And then I didn't really. That was a lot for me to go through. But I didn't feel like my intention was not ill-willed or based on selfish pleasure. It was more like, I feel like I see myself in this girl, and it's the way it happened with like my tire got flat. It was just a lot of weird dhammas arising, like what they call coincidental dhammas. Like it happens to be that I was riding around my car all day, and then all of a sudden when I get home, that the strut was bad, and I was backing up to park my car, and the entire axle fell for the wheel. So I was stuck. I had to wait for the tow truck, and the girl that invited me to the event where I met her, she was already leaving because her boyfriend was the one who was hosting the party. And I said, all right, I'll make it. And just because I was strictly keeping the precepts of false speech and honoring my word, I said, well, I gotta go. I told my co-workers with me that Anthony, and he was like, well, go. And I ended up getting over there. And then I met her. I was like, yeah, I wasn't even supposed to be there, but
I ended up picking him up.
yeah. And then the first time I went to her house, I saw a picture of the Buddha, and I was like, oh. And then I just immediately, like you did, prostrated. The same exact thing you did when you first saw the statue, was you recognized the presence of the master, and regardless in however way the dhammas, they arise as they arise.
let me, we prostrate to say thank you, that's all. That's it. That's all it means. It means to say thank you. A great master came in this world and taught us how to deliver us from evil.
Yes.
Deliver us from evil.
And inspire others.
Which is right, the same language that you guys use. You know what I mean? It's no different than I know you're suffering as much as I could. But imagine that if you were liberated from your worries and depression, just those 2 alone. If I could liberate those 2 alone, and then I die, right? Teach you that for a week. Then like next week I die. And every time you see a picture of me, you're like, I really respected him. Like, just think about if I died. You guys would think in your head, wow, this man had lived a holy life. He came, expected nothing, wanted nothing. He taught us, he liberated us. Majority or small amount of it, but that's what he did for us. So that's what how we see the Buddha, is that he was a doctor that came and told us what the illness was: greed, anger, ignorance. Taught us, well, if you don't want this poison in your body and mind, maybe you should stop wanting things. And so every time we prostrate to the Buddha, it just that's us taking the host.
Yes.
Each bow is taking the host. Because each bow is paying respect to the Buddha, the teachings, and the monastic order. Christ lived through you, with you, through you, with you. The Buddha lived through us, and with us, and in us. Remember when he hosts the
Wow. Yeah.
through him, with him, in the unity of the Holy Spirit, right?
We have three too.
And then, right, why do you think there's the Trinity? The Father, the Buddha, the Son, the teachings. Because the Father gave the teachings to the Son, and the Son started spreading it out, right? And then the Holy Spirits, let the Holy Spirits guide you. Well, the Holy Spirit in Buddhism is the monastic order, because we're guiding people. We're the one that's lighting the torch for all of you. Because if there was no Holy Spirit and no monastic order, how are you going to get instructions?
Yes.
And during these times of confusions, who are you going to ask? Like AI?
No.
Right.
Are you right? Which is, sorry. So the Holy Trinity exists in both. And you have to read a lot like I did and experience it and practice it and decipher it and have a really deep conversation with God and a deep conversation with Buddha at night in order to come up with these answers acceptable to all. You know what I mean? The whole world's watching. If I'm wrong, they tell me I'm wrong. And I don't see any middle fingers on my YouTube yet. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's beautiful, the Holy Trinity and the meaning under each elements. And people are still trying to figure out what's the Holy Spirit.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Sometimes your gut is the Holy Spirit. Ever thought about that?
So
your gut tells you
yes.
if you feel certain energies with certain ones, and it's like, yeah, the Holy Spirit telling me get the hell away from you right about now. you know what I mean? So yes.
So when I was learning about Patidana, which is the sharing of merits, I was thinking today. I was observing Jennifer talking to her friend, like just kind of like not into the conversation, but kind of like just making sure you're all right. And in one of them, she was telling her, you were giving her. Oh, she was telling her the benefits of dana, and I was thinking, wow.
Who was telling her?
She was telling her friend the benefits of dana, like like the more, because she was
talking about giving away her grandmother's
Right.
clothes. She had inherited a bunch of clothes from her grandmother, and I said, "Oh, well, isn't that nice that you were able to give some of those away? Didn't that take a heavy weight off your shoulders?" And she said, "Yeah, it sure did." And then in return, she got something for free or a sweater back or something.
Unexpected.
Right.
So the fact that she was able to identify that was by virtue of my actions. Because I go, oh yeah, I go, no. I said, oh, the reason why this, I go, because like it happens all the time to me. Like, oh, I need this, right? I just, next thing I know, I go to do something at work and I have the exact thing.
Yeah.
That I was saying that I would like to happen, not in a desire way, but it's just kind of like, oh, that would be nice, like an addition to my collection of things for the path, because all this is right livelihood. Like I'm structuring my life, having all the things I need necessary to be able to be in public at some future point, to go back to the monastic, to do the things according to the path. So these are things these are conditions that I'm setting for myself to to assure that and make sure that the right livelihood, that's the foundation of everything I do is the path, like the right livelihood.
I have another example. So I used to love to shop, and I would shop a lot at Bath and Body Works, right? So within the past month or so, I've been saying, "Oh, I'm out of shower gel. I'm out of shower gel." And I only used to get the Bath and Body Works because I would shop there. It's 15 bottles underneath the sink, right? Anyways, haven't had any in almost a year. So sure enough, I go to the grocery store this week, and somebody had left a cart full of Bath Body Works shower gel. I'm not kidding you. There was 30 bottles in there. I couldn't believe it. And somebody had just donated them, I guess.
And it's a neutral zone, so doesn't fall under do not take what is not given. Because they said if it's a neutral zone, yeah. But if
Yeah,
it's
that with the
yeah.
public female and laundry.
But and then also you have like that inner guidance that you'll know if you'll know if it you what Ajahn Chah says, if there's doubt, don't move. Investigate further because you might commit an act.
Right. Right. Jesus taught that if you want to follow him, give everything to the poor and then follow me. And that is one of the most beautiful things. It's like you want to follow God, but you don't want to give nothing away. You hoarding stuff, and how you want to, how you got Jesus all over this wall. It's like, how is that? How? You can challenge anyone with that. That's their explanation of dana. You know what I mean? And then it's like, how do you live? Praying the rosary,
Right.
a symbol of giving. You know, the rosary is symbol. The whole image of Jesus is a symbol of giving, of serving the poor.
Yes, you serve them.
You know what I mean? But I find that when you just internalize all of his teachings and actually practice them, like the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church did what no others can do. The amount of thrift stores, the amount of hospitals, the amount of Catholic schools, the amount of Catholic schools.
Wow, yes.
Brings so much joy to my heart when I'm passing by one. I'm like, oh yeah, y'all better keep the Ten Commandments as I'm driving by.
You learn about the precepts.
You know? And then, like, their hierarchies, I should have been a Catholic priest. It's just because it was so well structured. The money goes where it needs to go. It does, in fact, serve the poor. And again, I remain Catholic because of the Catholic system, we were able to immigrate to America. The Catholic relief services.
Yes, yep.
Whereas in Buddhism, when it comes to money, kind of like it goes all over the place. There is no unifying pope. You know what I mean? Each temple has their own pope. And it's like, that's great. And they're trying to hold it down, trying to fix their own roof. Because I get it. But, you know, it's like we scratching our heads like, I really wish there was a Dhamma school that teaches kids and they struggle. You know what I mean? So there's good things on both sides of the table when it comes to systems of organization and how they deliver that spirituality and the counseling and the services necessary. And a sense of community. Both gives you a sense of community.
Thank you.
And I can trust you. When you're at church, you look around, you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
They're all here.
Right.
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then the priest at the end announces the business, or the announcements page gives you all the businesses that provides plumbing, provides realtor,
Yes.
provides insurance.
Remember?
And they're going, and it's through the informed lens of the Catholic ways. Okay? And in Buddhism, the same thing. Now, you know, in Buddhism, we have flyers too, and it's like, yeah, well, these people have donated to this temple, and they're also carrying out these types of services. So if you receive services from these people, y'all on the same page of trust. And if there's issues between your business transaction, well, you know, a Buddhist monk gonna get his bamboo stick ready. So.
No need.
Yeah. It was, and also, the reason I also made the decision to go and, let's say, not be so black and white, though, is that I do remember the Buddha specifically stating, okay, and one of the most important things also is that friends, who you hang around with and who you spend your time with is going to determine where you're going and what direction. And I said, he goes, and if at all else, surround yourself with good people. So I'm thinking, well, instead of staying home, I could go surround myself with good people. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like the Buddha's like, so rather than stay home, I can go share in the energy and the goodness of other good people.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that was my intention. Now was that was its aim. I was like, well, it doesn't matter. The Buddha says you need to surround yourself with good people. So stop trying to figure it. You know what I mean? Stop fussing around. Go around some good people. Make the effort. It doesn't matter, you know, don't think of it in black and white, but just, you know, keep your, you know, always keeping the precepts, you know, if there's something you're not comfortable with, just don't do it. Ask questions. But you've already clarified it for me, so yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Bree is in the Catholic system too, and I think Christine was raised up. We just have a lot of Christians in America. So there will be a time where I'll go through the catechism with everyone. The catechism is only like There's that little tiny book, Catechism, the whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be beautiful for everyone to go through to understand the basic tenets of it and merge the two together.
Wow.
Because once you become a real a Buddhist practitioner, you're not attached to any of the tenets or doctrines of other beliefs and faith. You just see it as something very beautiful because it ensures safety in the world.
Yes.
You see it through the informed lens of sila,
Thank you. Okay.
without judgment, without
Yes.
having say, yeah, well, that's wrong, and let the lawyers deal with that. We're not
Yes.
lawyers. We Buddhists.
And I got
Yeah,
a,
you know.
I got a little bit of that today when I saw the act of contrition, the Ten Commandments. Like it was all lined up, and it was like the four precepts of the four Catholic precepts. But all of them
Value.
seemed like they were like
You look it up real quick.
spokes of a wheel
Mhm.
that go to the same center.
Right.
That's how I looked at it. I was like, wait, if you're following this, yeah, that's definitely the right. You're definitely aiming in the right way. Because even if that's not going to liberate
The 5 precepts was one. What was the other one? No.
the act of contrition, then there was the gifts, like he said, the gifts of the Holy Spirit, or it was the Ten Commandments. I should have took a picture.
I
don't remember.
know. It was, yeah.
I can't remember.
I can't.
Well,
It's
we'll
just
see.
so much.
Yeah.
I have that.
But
There was a pamphlet that
Uh-huh.
I bought at the Catholic store in the church, the Orange County Catholic.
Oh yeah, the Saint
Something.
Mary, Queen Mary.
They-
Try the
Queen
act
Mary
of contrition.
That is a beautiful bronze.
Let me see the
sculpture
act of contrition.
of,
Oh, I remember.
I have
Ranger
it.
Monk.
Prayer. Yeah.
That was one of them. But it was. But the
Yeah.
point,
Oh my God, I am heartily sorry for having offended thee, and I detest all my sins because of thy just punishment, but most of all because they offend thee, my Lord, who are all good and deserving of all my love. I firmly resolve, with the help of thy grace, to sin no more and to avoid the near occasion of sin. Amen. Right.
nice.
And then there are for children also, and then with focus on making amends.
Right.
And some of the words used in the act of contrition is heartedly,
Mhm.
offended, detest, and resolve.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
Of which actually in Buddhist bhikkhu practice,
Right.
we have the same thing when
Okay.
we actually commit an offense. We have to actually confess to a senior teacher. Then the
Wow.
senior teacher will tell them how to resolve it by meditating more and by reflecting certain teachings. It's no different than this.
Wow.
No
Wonderful.
different than
Thank
this.
you.
Yeah,
Wow.
you see it all the time. And then when there are big ceremonies, you see senior, junior monks just veer towards the senior teachers and start paying respect so that they can resolve some of the unwholesomeness.
Oh.
And so it's an act of acknowledging there are things this month I probably was unwholesome, unskillful at. So let me pay my respect now before we start this service so that I can clear my karma and fully focus on what's happening. This is weighing in my heart.
Yeah.
That's why the heartedly lies in there.
That's
Heartedly. It'll weigh in on your hearts.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That's true.
But yeah, so we'll go through that. I think, tonight's
That's
conversation, I
beautiful.
might ask them if they have any reservations in their hearts into the basic tenets of Christianity. Obviously, they've cleared their way to learn the Dhamma, but just for fun. And again, this year I want to focus on practicing meditation,
Yes.
stilling the mind, calming the mind. And our world is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So we have to go enter into meditation or else you're going to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Christine found a video last night of a young Buddhist monk in Bangkok, Thailand. And with his robes taken off, with his angsa, he took the robes, put it over his right shoulder, and holding a samurai sword. And he looked like he was not playing around. And there's a police van sitting there. So they're trying to talk him out of something. And she was really struck by that. And she was like, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, it's probably a novice monk. He's just going through some mental issues. And none of us exempt mental issues. And she was like, well, how do you know he's a novice monk? Just look at the guy's age and the fact that his robes is not on him. And the way,
he's
and
doing
just
that.
the fact that he looks like he's about to chop everybody off in this moment. Or it could be someone that wants to destroy Buddhism that dress up like one. Who steps outside without putting on their robes properly. So I just don't know. But they were very attached onto it. So it tells me that I need to enter into practice with them. To just, number one, mind your business.
Yeah.
Number two, it's Bangkok. They are their own country and world. In that city. In their city alone, they're their own little world inside of a city. So it's like Amsterdam. You go to Amsterdam and you're like, wow, talk about sins. Ha! What a great way to commit one sin and it'll be the 10th to the 10th power by next Sunday.
And
I almost
And,
threw up.
and also STDs to the 10th power by next Sunday in the ER.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And so and I also know information that Christine didn't, but it shook them. And then, Bree got into it too. Bree's like, what's happening? And I'm like, it doesn't matter, darling.
doesn't
We
matter.
got our own issues right
Yeah.
now we got to deal with. Nonetheless, trying to figure out, just like the arrow hitting them. It's like the arrow hitting them,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
who shot
Yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah.
Where did it come from? Is this arrow made in China? So it's like trying to say, who's the monk?
What type of
Which
wood?
temple? Which temple did he belong to? Where did he get the samurai sword? Oh my
Was his
God.
father a Cancer or a Leo? We
Yeah.
need to know. These are very important details.
Yeah, because he definitely was a Gemini holding that sword.
Right? Absolutely.
But-
So, all right.
And
Yes.
I wanted to say that Bree and Christine are okay. So I think that a lot of the times when people are encountering Buddhism, and Jennifer has told me this once, she's like, "How could you be into Buddhism and you're doing all this bad stuff? Like, stuff that I was struggles I was getting myself out of, growing from." So I said, we're not rocks. Like the people who became enlightened, right? Like I learned this today from Ajahn Chah when we went over one of his teachings earlier today. And it's one of the ones I like, where he goes, the people who were enlightened were just like us, defiled. They were committing actions just like you.
Yeah.
They were everyday people just like you. And they got enlightened in the time of the Buddha. Just like,
Right.
the potential is there to say and it wasn't like there was like this select people. It was ordinary people that listened to the Dhamma during when the Buddha was living and that got enlightened right there. Like, not right there and there, but they put it into practice and they got the benefit and they got out.
So the Catholic, they did the 3 Hail Marys and confessed their sins.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny when we look at practitioners, and it's like, I mean, it's just so the fact that we're trapped in the body of trauma and addiction, very hard to restrain. The Buddha taught, Jesus Christ and Buddha taught, restrain yourself. It's, restrain yourself and don't unleash. But the fact that we saw them unleash and then we hold them accountable because I thought you were Buddhist.
Right. That's
Well, they're Buddhists because they're learning the way so that they can stop doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? No different than look at all the Christians who identify as Christians that goes to jail. I mean, or KKK or the January 6 rioters jumping Capitol Hill. And if you ever look in jail, they ask that. They're like, what do you identify as? What is your religion? The profile is meant for the FBI to get you later, but also to understand statistically in sociology and social work too, for them to be like, no,
Yeah,
how
where's
many
the gap?
ding dongs is gonna blow up something here
Right.
that is identified as Buddhist, and they can have a statistical number to say that, well, I think the Buddhists are not gonna jump Capitol Hill this year. And perhaps probably the Christians. Okay. But anyways, my point is that that's why when you study mindfulness, which is what we're doing, that determines everything into the quality of this human. When the human is mindful, you're safe because he knows what he's doing and why he's doing it with you. When a human is mindless, running around with weed or mindlessly running around doing stuff, and you're just like, this shit's out of control.
Slow down.
Just, think about it. You know what I mean? Think about it. And even look at oneself when you're bouncing around and you're like, what have I been doing in the past hour?
Right.
I've been every corner of my house trying to chase this spider or trying to decorate or something. And what was my motive? What was my intention? This is a lot of hell in my head.
Yeah, but when I sew, I am calming my mind or listening and trying to find the silent thought,
Right.
Try to have a silent thought as best you can and be mindful because that makes you more of an observer in the long run.
Right. So my best friend is Muslim, Faisal. I grew up with him. And I'm like, what are you, Muslim? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, that's great. I have no dissenting opinions. I just kind of sit back and just watch how he treats me. He brings me food. He serves. He's happy. He prays 5 times a day. He don't touch pork. That's great. So I judged him by the quality of his mindfulness.
Mm.
Are you mindful when I'm in your home? And he was.
Wow.
And how this been my college days. Oh my god, my college days. If without Faisal, I would have been dead. Because I was so stressed out at homework, school, and my refuge was his house.
Wow.
Because he took so good care of me. You know, he just brought me food and he made sure I was well fed. I slept on the couch. His mom loved me. I loved his mom. And I'm just like, and I wake up from his house and I'm like, oh, this is like heaven. It was like, we're very nice, you know, just, I'm just like, I feel right at home here. So I never looked into our differences that he's Muslim, I'm Buddhist.
Wow.
I just judge by the heart. You judge the way how they treat you. It has always been that way.
Yes, wholeheartedly.
Yeah. That's it. You know what I mean?
He's like, I don't believe her. I don't trust her.
No. I
This
haven't
fortune telling.
been told. I've been spoken like that to you.
But the CBT helps you to be more mindful. CBT had nothing to do with Muslim, Christianity, or Buddhist. CBT is just CBT. CBT is just like, do you know when you're blowing things out of proportion right now? And it's like, I definitely is. You're being a fortune teller. You're thinking for him. Do you see that? You know, when you read through the books, you're like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what I mean? That's it. That's it. So so I just hope that you guys finish the CBT.
Yes. So
before next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's your goal.
Let's do it.
I know. He
So
said that the other night.
we'll add that right there. So we have a thing on the mirror for the new moon. So
Right.
no messing around.
Right.
All right.
And-
So let's put CBT on there. Finish CBT.
Yeah.
Put
And
it on there now.
I'm probably gonna rewrite it and put it on your bathroom.
What? No, that's for everyone. It's, you know, really. Okay, so basically your position is you want to keep suffering. You want to come back and get old again and get sick and go through cancer and whatever else whatever else this place gives you.
Put it wherever, everywhere.
You know, depend.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a temporary tattoo that says CBD now.
Yeah.
come here, Jorge. Let me tell you something. Come here when you're done over there.
I'm coming. Finish. I'm gonna put finish CBT. That's our goal right there.
All right.
And listen, you don't even try to see you can't read it because you can see it. I know you can. All right. Even though that would be mental. Yes.
That doesn't happen.
Mind reading.
When we preach the first noble truth or re-scare them, it's no different than a priest scaring people with hell and sins. Can you imagine a priest wearing a white collar running around trying to recruit people by telling them, if you don't follow me, you're going to hell. And by the way, it's really hot down there. Yeah. And you can't buy a refrigerator. So yeah, just try not because of the differences in religion and practice, try not to rebirth and all that stuff like that
Thank you.
because that's no different than her running around telling you everything you're doing is a sin.
Got it.
If you touch yourself, it's a sin. If you do this, is a sin. If you do that, is a sin. If you get angry, it's a sin. Everything's a sin, and you're like, oh shoot! Is there a slide to hell? I'll just slide right now with the amount of things that you have been describing that it is a sin. Yeah.
Going.
And if you keep on saying rebirth over and over again, she might as well be like, so where's the rebirth button? So I can just hit it and just reborn again. So I don't have to hear this over and over again. So
That's our ritual. No. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that
3 days you did
clarification.
it. Can you do it in 3 days? No.
Thank you. I will definitely.
So don't take things too seriously. Take it lightly with curiosity. You know what I mean? And there will be a time where you will know that this is my faith and conviction. And typically just keep it to yourself. Your level of growth and development and spiritual growth and development will be different than hers. And when she has found God, she will know. And when God has found her, she will know. And when you have found the Buddha inside of you, and you've found God inside of you, you'll light like a whoop, it's that glow, indestructible glow. And both don't really have to say much when both recognizes that glow. How do we know this? When you look back at the Book of Joy, Desmond Tutu, who is a Christian archbishop, and the Dalai Lama, Buddhist, Christianity. He's a bishop. Big old cross right there. You can't miss it. And they like play with each other. They do. They like grab each other's goatees. You know, they do.
No, compared
And then yeah, and then
Let's
the other one jokes
interesting.
about hell, and the other one jokes about rebirth to each
Whoa.
other, because they already have the
That's
glow.
Wow.
They so they are two gods sitting together.
Wow.
You got one that's Buddha and one that's like Christ. You know what I
That's
mean?
amazing.
And that's how you all should be. So on your next book will be in the was it the Book of Joy by the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu.
Okay, the Book
The
of
Book
Joy.
of Joy.
Thank you.
That would be most appropriate for the both of you, and to watch their encounter, because that's you are Desmond and you are the Dalai Lama. Watch their encounter. It is when you read it, how they play with each other, their friendships grown over the years, how they waited so long to see each other,
Oh my God.
and both are wanted fugitives.
Wow.
Desmond has the apartheid in Africa after him.
Oh my god.
You know, if they could snipe him, they would. So both are heavily underprotected. Then the Dalai Lama is also
Yeah, from China.
wanted in China.
Yeah.
So you got two fugitives that can't be near each other long. And they've waited all day, every day to be in each other's presence. And when they sit, they don't debate on Christ and Buddha. They joke about it and they laugh and they dance together.
Yes,
He
that
broke a
was-
golden rule.
Wow.
You cannot dance. Then the Dalai Lama danced with them, and you see pictures of them dancing, moving their hands together, just living enlightenment.
Okay.
And each one knows where they're gonna go,
Right.
or will be rejoiced again in heaven together. They
Right.
just know. There is no need to prove one's own point. Where I'm gonna go, and I want you to come with me. It says you both are They both are liberated in this lifetime. There's nothing you can do to Desmond. He's been through so much with the apartheid and standing up for civil rights, and he's like MLK.
Or Mandela.
You're right, or Mandela. Well, how are you gonna kill Mandela
Right. You can't.
when he went to prison for so long and and became this enlightened being? And the Dalai Lama at like 6 years old had to like go undercover as a kid so they wouldn't know that he's the Dalai Lama at 6 years old. So you think you're gonna scare this man now at like 80, 90 years old? You're gonna scare him when he's been running away from bullets and AK-47 since he was 6.
Wow.
So they know. So they have resolved their own suffering,
Right.
both in this lifetime. And that's all it really matters, that you resolve your own suffering.
Right.
And when you do that, there'll be a big sense of understanding and glow. So I hope you guys become them.
Okay.
So get it with
Thank you.
CBT, and then you have my permission to read this in conjoining
Okay.
with our practices that we do,
Perfect. Thank you.
at the every 2-week thing. So
That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
I rejoice.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
and it's examples like that, exactly what I have said. I mean, I studied both of them in order to bridge the gap between couples like you guys every day.
Wow.
Because I mean, every day people fight over like, well, he had said, oh my God, let it go.
Right.
Why are you focused on one line that Tom wrote and you didn't even know Tom? Did you drink with him? Did you drink with him? He wrote this. How do you know that he got it from God? The love of your life sitting in front of you, you arguing with, you gonna take what Tom wrote in a book from when? What edition was that?
Wow.
Ain't the Bible I got, darling, tell you that.
Oh no.
Very good. So I shall take off now.
Thank you, Master.
I will let you all know ahead of time that I'm getting weaker. My lab values are red. You see it in my face. You see it in posts. So this upcoming year will be very health challenging. So I embrace it happily. I mean, the Buddha had like a long list of karma he had to go through, so I don't exempt. But people have read my hands and they've already said it. Yeah, you're in the middle of your life, which is kind of like now. You're going to go through it. And I'm like, bring it. Bring it. Because in 2017, 18, 19, I was in the hospital like 20 times.
Wow.
So that's why I'm here. Because there will be times where I can't be here or in the hospital. So my words for you guys are very important.
Thank you.
Everyone's got their own karma. Just same like some priest out there who are dealing with cancer and stuff like that. So they have told me referral to the hematology and oncology. That means blood/cancer area. And so I'll let them. I don't have a diagnosis yet, but it's not a good thing being 36 and like I slept till like 12 today.
Yeah, I know.
And
I've been
like,
hearing you.
it's been like 5, 6 hours, and I'm already feeling like you can tell the speech, right? It's different. Speech is different. The eyes is not,
Yeah.
so. But I could tell the oncoming year is gonna be challenging. So I gotta repeat my labs and all that stuff like that. So don't worry about me. Just that's why we've been at this for at the speed that we've been at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So CBT, remember?
Yeah, just stay on top of it.
Yeah, we don't want you to worry about anything because holding on to worry is not good, and we want to be as healthy and wholesome and wholeheartedly as possible.
You're so amazing.
Yeah, and I'll be, when I can, and you all will, the books will guide you. So
Well,
the
we're
book
gonna.
will guide you, and then I will be there to clarify. Maybe I'll have probably less time next year with school. I've enrolled back to school. I'm not sure how many is going to be online. Hopefully, a lot of them are online, so I don't have to drag this body inside a classroom.
Right.
Dozing in and out, trying to like stay awake.
Some hot tea.
So I just wanted, by meeting with you now before next year starts, I'm able to make sure that everyone's on point, as on point as possible.
Thank you.
Trajectory. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's why we are doing the 8 precepts on the 30th as a symbolism and an actual act of good intention towards our intention toward next year, doing things completely, for the good, aiming good, letting go of things. I'm definitely like, there's a lot of point of no returns I've already crossed.
Right.
I got way too much responsibility, and I am also aware of my karma, but I will include you in my intentions when I'm giving.
Oh, you've done so much already.
It should help you on
You've
your
done so
journey.
much already. I just want to get this Rinpoche thing out of the way.
Yes.
You
So
know.
yeah, I'm working on. That's definitely coming along very well. Everything's developing on that end. It's just a matter of my healing and stuff. But I have faith in my work, in my works, in my good deeds. I don't disqualify those. I used to not really give myself credit, and now I actually sit and reflect on those things. I'm like, you know what? I try to be that force for everyone that's around me. And I don't have that many people around me, but I try to be that one person that people can talk to, that one person who never talks about anybody. And it's not like I'm trying to live a certain, personality. It's about understanding, like that, if you hear this here, you don't repeat it there, the Buddha says, So
You move so gracefully nowadays. Do you remember back then when you had your small car, how you used to turn your head to check the blind spots?
Yeah.
How you like broke your neck trying to look at. You were like, man, if the Secret Service didn't hire you, they missed out on the most vigilant agent they could have been. Could have caught that damn shooter with the Trump thing. You know what I mean?
Jennifer says,
She didn't know you back then, but oh my goodness, wow!
no, not
Thank
that
you.
one. So,
Oh, it's okay. I don't care.
this is
Oh,
for
okay.
medicinal.
Oh.
So it's.
If you don't know, it's not a sin.
Well,
But now I knew.
Okay.
He's almost ready.
I didn't want to do that to you
Wash my
because
hands.
without warning. Because first of all, that's medicine. It's not. That's why I have them
It's
as
fine.
little.
It's fine.
I have them small. So either way, bon appetit.
If you try to kill the Buddha, you can't become enlightened.
Right. Well,
Oh, you need a napkin?
yes, please.
Thank you. It's very nice of you.
You're welcome.
And could you bring him a bag? I want to give 3 yogurts, one for him and his mother and his dad.
Okay. Well, they gotta be chilled.
It's peach. It's the best flavor.
I had a counselor that night that you gave me all those, and I was gonna die when I saw that protein shake that you gave, and it just so happened to have Fruit Loops flavor.
Ooh.
I held that like it was, when the Buddha, remember when he practiced for 6 years, wrong, he could touch his spine.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was the rice porridge that saved him.
Oh, that saved him.
Well, your Fruit Loop protein shake saved me. And it was so good. I entered nirvana.
Thank you for that.
I even kept the bottle.
Wow. Well, we got another one for you, right?
I kept the bottle because I'm like, where do you get this? I'm quite attached to this bottle right now.
I think there's a closed one in the fridge.
I know. I'm looking for the little bag that says
okay.
for you or something like that. A little gray one.
I'm glad that you liked it. we saw it, and in an instant, I went back to a place in my childhood when I used to love Fruit Loops. So, and it was a good time in my pending originating past. It was it was an era of that type of growth.
Are you wondering why I'm eating this after 12, according to the rules? So I have enough energy for an 8:30 session with Bree.
Right.
Oh, this
Right.
one you already opened.
So the reason why we made that one was because I told her next year on the full and new moon days we must adhere strictly to doing at least April. We have to be serious about what we're doing here. Like, what are we doing? Like, are we playing? Are we just gonna fuss? I said, so we have to have our aims right, and we need to be disciplined and have restraints. And that's not a lie. It's one, like it doesn't matter the time, but it's like the full and new moons. It's only 2 days, throughout the month that we can practice this, and that's not a lot because that investment is good for later on.
Yeah.
Overall, considering what because we we don't know based on what could brought up.
Yeah.
When the fruit bears.
Right. Right.
Not a lot of us will be informed. I mean, I'm very well aware of my own action in terms of, but I'm not. I have wise fear, meaning that there's a lot of restraint based on. Oh yeah, no.
Right.
You mean? I mean, I saw a guy today with rheumatoid, and I saw old age, and I said, yeah, I don't want to keep doing that. Like that's and if the master Fully Malone is saying that he can guarantee no more of that. I'm not doing, neglecting of the reality that I don't want, but I'm just awareness of like, yeah, that's pretty sincere from my heart that I don't want to experience that, and whatever I need to do to make sure that that's the case for me and for others, yeah, I'm all in.
Good.
I'm all in.
Good. You both are staying on top of your practices. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. She's gonna bring me some tea now.
Maybe I'll tell that it's hot.
Oh, wow.
It might be too hot. I don't know.
What?
Plus, I wanted to give you sore throat. I had the sore throat tea.
Do you have the Fruit Loop drink? That's all he wants to know.
Yeah, no.
No, no, it's not all I want. No.
Next time. That should come. 'Cause you opened it up already.
I did?
Yep.
The fact that monks don't have luxuries to like taste some of the things that you guys have, and when we do have it, we enter nirvana. And we don't want another one because it could constitute attachment.
I poured this into
Oh my goodness.
a smooth
Oh, let me show
soap,
the people
just a
what
little
I-
bit. So you can have the rest of it.
This,
I promise
anyone who
I
wants
will.
to, they should really. I should get royalties for advertising that. But this is what he gave me.
Oh
There are
my
some nights I
gosh.
do counseling, and I just want. I mean, my body is just like
To make a smoothie
it
with
just
that.
requires so much cognitive thinking to try to merge with students. Some of the students are like lawyers on the phone, and I was out of it, and I was like, what's gonna save me now? And Jorge gave me this and a bunch of Gatorade. Oh, lifesaver. This made me tea. Nothing better than tea in this cold season. It's like 21st century rice porridge.
Yes.
It was. I just, and my lab values, something about my red blood cells and white blood cells. I have this diagnosis of hypothalassemia. It's just sometimes it strikes at the wrong time when I'm trying to monk. Just trying to be a monk. I just want to cater to my ministry and just talk to my people. And my body's just like, nah, you need to rest right now, and I'll try to fight it. So.
I'm glad that you're filming this because I always go back and download and listen to them.
And you don't listen to with your sleep close to your phone or anything like that, do you?
What?
Well, the goal here is the two goal with the social media streaming is number one, spread the teaching, and number two, for all of you to reconstruct how to tap into enlightenment.
Thank you.
Because obviously, if you chose a certain teacher and you are like, wow, this man did it, and we're just wondering how he did it. well, then you would go back and I mean, they're studying Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's got her own college course right now.
Wow, really?
Literally, like her own college course.
Good
I think
job.
it was 9 weeks, like 2 months. You study Taylor Swift's life.
Wow.
So, whoever wants to reconstruct the way how I've taught since I began until now, the strictness, the threefold training, everything, it was meant for that. Or else, had it not been recorded, it would have been for nothing.
For no-
Like,
yeah.
People forget. You don't forget.
And your administration.
That's what mindfulness is. Don't forget.
Yes. Yeah.
Remember to observe how your mind is jumping.
Yeah.
And I also wanted, well, I should say the third goal is for me to measure how I've been doing, how I've grown as a young teacher to now a more seasoned teacher.
Wow.
After after 8, 9 years, how did I fare out? Am I still, strict, or was I too easy, or I also measure how, or correct where I think I could have been wrong, which no one's ever told me I was wrong. In straight 10 years straight. That's how you know I've perfected mindfulness. It's because you say the wrong thing, people let you know. They also make their own videos and they're like, yeah, by the way, this cheat out guy, I don't know what he's talking about, but I've never seen that in the sutta before.
And it's not that I didn't want to give him the pecan pie. I do, but it's not
No,
organic.
it's okay. You're fine. I mean, that's very kind of you. See, so her favorite is pecan, and I always tell her, give your favorite. That's how train your mind to give the favorite. Don't get attached. And take good in that. Like, know that like it feels good to give your favorite thing to someone because it's nice.
Well, yeah, thank you for preserving my life.
Well, I mean, how many preserves are inside that?
That's all
pecan
food
pie?
does, is preserving one's life to continue so he can continue teaching.
Mm-hmm. That's
Oh my
right.
God.
That's true.
Continue to
I think I'm going to be reappeating that when I go in the hospital. Thank you for preserving my life. And they're going to be like, oh my God, why do you have to get so deep?
So,
Because I'm a monk.
but you let us know so we can be of assistance to you as much as possible.
I just let them do what they do. It's like an old car, I mean, because researchers told us at 40, big marker change. And then at 60, big marker change
Ooh, 60
in your
really?
body.
So 10 more, whoa. I already did the 40.
But you have to watch out how you take care of your body because,
What do you do?
the aging aspect of it, just the natural aging aspect, or certain cellular, you just send signals. Your body's filled with signals and filled with cells trying to communicate. Based upon what you eat, nowadays,
Yes.
because of our diet, our faces have become smaller.
Mm.
There are infants now born without wisdom teeth.
What?
Yeah. So pretty soon, I don't know, if our head's getting smaller, our brain's getting smaller, we're going to become dumb. Yeah.
Wow.
The most recent research shows.
We were watching one of the guys that she hooked me up with about. We're actually putting it. That's why we made the chill. We put mushrooms. So we're trying to. I'm resetting my gut
It was a
biome.
Lewis
Oh,
house.
And two things. I wanted to bring this to y'all's attention. Candy nowadays are super sweet, a little too sweet.
Yes.
Thank God for my mindfulness to notice the difference. The Kit Kat bars and the M&Ms have gotten bigger in package. So is the potato chips Lay's.
And the toilet is
But,
smaller.
but buy one, buy one, get two. And then you have more ERs opening up. You have
Yeah.
more urgent care or
Right.
Advent Health, or Walgreens got checkup clinics, CVS got
Yeah,
checkup clinics.
Yeah.
So you have to think the billionaire ding dongs
Right.
are sitting there with each other, like how we're sitting here now. And they're like, hey, Tom,
Right.
by the way, you want to do that BOGO again? Because, every time we do that BOGO at Publix or Walmart or wherever the hell they sell this stuff, Target, we get more patients and we like it.
Wow.
And we get more insurance claims and we like it. That's why Mangione did the things that he did.
Wow.
Even though in Buddhism we don't condone.
No, we don't. But he had it. Yeah.
But he was trying to make a statement.
Yeah.
But based upon my observations in society, and I've been a social worker, is that, a social worker who is addicted to chocolate. So I know my chocolate. And when I'm like, this is a different kind of sweet. This is a poisonous type of sweet.
Wow.
It's not, Kit Kat, Kit Kat, we're really not that different. But the other types of sweets,
Yeah. Wow.
like the Hostess and the Little
Yeah.
Debbie's,
Yeah.
oh, you taste it, it's like,
Mm.
this is meant for your body to shut down. The refined sugar, the type of refined sugar that they used back then and nowadays, is meant to kill you.
I'd like to sponsor Jenny's.
Macaroons.
What happened? You want to show what?
You better. Did you give him some?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you some of these. They're
It's
great.
organic?
Yeah.
So I live longer?
Yeah.
Take one
so,
out.
yeah, They're excellent.
Oh my God! Look, they're trying to like
Take it down the whole bag, so I'll give you the whole.
trying to kill the Buddha.
No, these are good. They're organic, so you can't eat these.
Okay.
Jenny's. Notice the name.
Oh, nice.
Are you advertising for Publix?
No.
Can I
What
have
was-
another piece of cake, please?
Yes, I was gonna bring it. If you want one next.
That's the desire.
Yeah, and then so like one has to ask. We didn't have this. Everybody did just fine without all these urgent cares, and now you got more urgent cares. You got more clinics because they want the money. They're gonna feed the ignorant. They're gonna cause the conditions for us to be like little mices
Yeah.
to feed in. If you're not, that's why we teach mindfulness of eating, and we follow the precept after 12, don't eat. Not what I just did earlier. So that you don't put yourself in a position where you could have health problems.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If you eat once
Because
a day,
if you eat once a day,
Yeah.
your cells recycle, so you're less likely to have cancer.
Mhm.
Like the cells just kind of like eat themselves, and they
Mhm.
reproduce more new cells.
No diabetes, no gaining weight because you're eating once a day.
Right.
It's impossible for you to gain weight.
The lecture we heard on Friday, he said have mushrooms twice a week. It doesn't matter if they're button mushrooms, pancioni from Italy,
Or
they're
portobello.
portobello.
Yeah, that's what we.
but
So we
you
bought a
should
bunch
eat
of
mushrooms
mushrooms.
twice
We're
a week.
changing everything.
Yeah.
Like in other words, we used to eat a lot of processed foods, but we're staying because of aging and understanding where we are in the process. We're now saying, okay, we need to buy this type of foods for the next step, which is now the dissolution. Kaya wayam, the book says, kaya wayam, the dissolve and dissolution of the body.
Ah,
You need a little more leg space? Or you
no,
okay?
I'm okay.
You sure?
Yeah, just enjoying the tea. And
So yeah, I look forward to it. And
I mean, one hell of a conversation tonight with that video that surfaced. I should send
Which
it to
video?
you.
yeah, I didn't see any video.
That
Let's see.
it's in the
With the monk?
yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. Let me-
Christine.
He could have, been reflecting, had a meditation, week, and came back
But
and
the
said,
thing
guess
is
what?
that-
I can't handle it. I gotta.
Jen, like when you had symptoms, how could you be Buddhist and you're doing like it's not
Give me
about
1 second, real quick here. Get
it's
that.
to make sure we don't fall again. And then even if we did fall again, we don't beat ourselves up, but we again get up and strive again.
I see. I sent you. You have TikTok, right?
I didn't set it up, and I'll do it tonight.
Oh, but yeah, it just shows a monk like in his 20s. Oh, you got me more.
Just
Yeah.
in case, it's pretty
Oh,
good.
wow.
With tea?
I don't know if it's healthy, but
It's okay. One day I'll die. Like my professor says, one day I'll die. Oh, we both are caving into our desires and clinging. It's a joke of the.
clean and cleaning right.
For sure, because
Codependent way.
we suffer because
I haven't had cake in like I don't know, a year.
Wow, that's wonderful.
No luxuries. Yeah, this is how you know. Now, if you give a monk a high price item
Yeah.
or something that's luxurious, something, and he's like, he doesn't want it, or maybe he's been enjoying it when you're not there.
Very possible.
Should I
I got jokes tonight. I'm sorry. Just a lot of jokes.
That means you're feeling good. I like it. Is the chili ready? Because I can
I think so now.
Hold on. It's good. After this,
No,
I got.
for you to take home.
yeah.
Oh, I'm taking home chilies. Oh,
A little bit of chili. Primarily because of the diet, babe.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
But we did get all organic stuff for it, right? Mushrooms are in here?
Yeah, but they're regular mushrooms. They're not psychoactive. Which I think a lot of people who
it depends on what kind of meditation you're doing. Someone says they feel tense after meditation, but it depends on what came up during meditation.
Yeah, let's see the comments.
Well, I mean, and with Julie, so it's like he's trying to gain something out of the experience as an object.
It depends. Everyone's different. That's why the teacher has to know the student well to be the referee of the mind. That's the hardest thing ever to do, to be referee of the mind. And then when they start meditating and report back all sorts of imagery, experiences, or anger, or just things that comes up. Everyone's experience is different. You can't just teach Vipassana and expect same results for everybody.
Wow, beautiful. Well said.
But it's no different than a doctor knowing your body. Because he treated you for 10 years. He knows what it likes, what it doesn't like. A doctor knows your body does not like refined sugar, or it doesn't like starch, or it doesn't like certain pastas. He'll know just based upon the frequency of lab work.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's gonna gather all that and be like, yeah, stop eating white pasta or
Wow.
or pre-diabetic. Stop eating white rice. Go with brown rice instead.
Okay. Wow.
So in meditation, the teacher have prior information about a student's experience, lived experience, or PTSD, trauma, addiction, abuse. And then when they close their eyes, they're reliving that hell. So how do we resolve that hell? So we may have to pause meditation and bring those things up to the surface of the conscious level and not let it run around in the subconscious. Because when they close their eyes, subconscious kind of just opens the door and start attacking or manufacturing or producing mental imagery, relived experiences.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And they get,
So yeah, you have to be very skillful, and ideally you want to choose a teacher who have suffered himself greatly, puts him in a qualified position to know how to deal with certain specialties in mental health. Yeah, so that they can be free from disturbing emotions. That's it. That's the goal. The goal is meditate to be free from disturbing emotions. But during meditation, you have disturbing emotions and imagery. We have to address that clinically.
Yeah, chill.
thank you. Wow. That's. I gotta.
You're full, huh? You're
No,
full?
I have to.
If I stay here, I might be fat.
You can stay as long as you want. I was just thinking about my thing just thinking of how strange it feels, and that you have to basically take care of yourself. Take care of this aging body, damaging.
Taking care of the body compels you towards enlightenment because you realize that the body alone is the karma.
Yeah, that's right.
Just look at the body. It wants to eat. It wants to sleep. It wants to dress. Well, that's what we call it in Vietnamese. Ăn mặc ngủ.
Oh.
Ăn is eat. Mặc, which is to wear nice clothes. Everyone wants to wear nice clothes. And you got to do it by law anyways. Ăn mặc ngủ, and then sleep. Look at how much we cater to sleep.
Yeah, we love sleep.
And we have to fight to get up. So many people are obese because they can't fight the good fight to get up. You know what I mean? So all three of those, eat, wear nice clothes, and sleep alone. It's like, you really want to come back as a human realm? And to be enslaved by the body.
Right.
That's where the first meditation is Gaia. Gaia is body, mindfulness of the body. Like, what does your body want right now? And when novice monks, you guys repeat the 32 parts of the body because, again, that's what it wants. The body wants to pleasure, sense pleasures, always.
Always, yeah.
Slavery, basically. This in itself, born with this in itself,
Yeah. And then
is slavery.
Yeah, you're condemned to death. You have to. He goes, what is the condition for this? He goes, then he keeps going back and he goes, oh, what's the condition of that birth?
Right.
He goes, if you don't want to die, don't be born. Born into what? Born into setting. Born into the different states that we, that was. And it's, you need that mindfulness to be able to see that, the momentum going, the thoughts passing. Yeah,
Right.
I may not see it, but I understood it that way, and I'm like, I can't wait. But just in the sense of like, I know that when that happens, everything else falls. Like, all habits, all because you have meditation now, and so now that stillness of the mind, you don't need anything else because all that stuff was done because of the unstillness of the mind. The weed, the cake, the overeating, whatever people do, whether they're parachuting. That's what I tell people. Like, if you're addicted to sex, it's probably because that's the only time you're all in the moment. And that little break in the mental wandering, proliferating mind, that little break of being aware is enough. Because it's like a fraction of a second of peace, and then boom, back to
Yeah.
So I do understand, like I've been through it myself, so that's why I got like, oh yeah, definitely. I was like, and that's the same like with Angulimala. He was acting out with fingers on his, all because he couldn't. You'll be walking around with fingers around your neck.
He was something else.
Right. Yeah,
But at the same time,
with you, man?
But at the same time, I find it difficult to believe 900.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a lot. Symbolism of a lot.
Whoever wrote it had to make it kind of exaggerate a little bit
Yeah.
to make the point. But I get the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's about redemption.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And
Redemption.
Paul's is the same story. So when she told me one time about, your faith thing, they're talking about murderers, and I go, well, who needs the most help? Do the holy people need the most help? or do the deluded, like Ajahn Chah says, the deluded?
Right.
We have nowhere else to look but the deluded, because they're the ones causing the most harm.
Right.
And I said, and I had forgot about the story of Paul, and we went to church, and they did the homily on the story of Paul, and I said, hey, that's the same story as in Angulimala. I said, in principle, it's the same thing. This guy was killing people mercilessly. This one was intentionally after Christians. I said, and he even changed his name. I said, there's no he reached a different, like I think in symbolism, they both read arahantship. He became a saint, and became an arahant.
Yeah.
But it's like, again, the same. It's not the same path, but I think that even if you're Catholic and you're being rebirthed, let's say, going on the theory of karma, like at least you're getting closer to the teachings, because eventually,
Right.
by virtue of all them rebirths, you're going to make it to one life where you're going to encounter the Buddha, the Dhamma, the teachings of the teacher. So the aim is right, as opposed to if you're doing defilement stuff, you're never going to get it. You're guaranteed to not get there. Unless you have an extreme turnaround like Angulimala, which he cut right through the chase. That's beautiful. I mean, like you said, it's one. That's why, because it's such a strong story of reconciliation that you would never think that would be the.
Right.
It's contrary to anything worldly that
Right.
they teach.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Time to wrap it up, right? And I just realized
Yes.
that since she's packing up chili, that I forgot the other two to-go plastic containers that you guys
Oh, okay.
had for me last time. I gotta hunt that down.
Give them away
I know.
to someone.
Yeah.
For real.
It's somewhere.
Give them to someone.
I'm a bit so busy that I forgot to return them. Thank you all
Well,
for
you know-
joining on
Yeah.
YouTube. I will need to speak with my students at 8:30, so I may go back live again 8:30 so that everyone can observe the conversations with all my students. Take care. Another 30 minutes.
Yeah.